Why can't you stop playing games with me? Do you hear that from your friends? Or maybe you're one of them. You've gone through some dating experiences. Somebody's been playing games with you. They're not texting you back, and they seem like they were really into you at one point. Now it's just poof, they're gone. It's not even Halloween, and apparently you're seeing ghosts. So this video is going to talk about why playing games and the fear of being vulnerable is what sabotages our relationships, and how being vulnerable can get you what you want. Stick around. YouTube family, David Medawar here. Let's talk about playing games in relationships and why do we do it. So to step back a little bit, maybe we need to actually understand where the other person's coming from. People don't necessarily just wake up out of bed one day and they're like, you know what, I'm just going to mess with somebody's head. I'm going to make it seem like I'm really interested in them, and then all of a sudden I'm just going to pull away and make them spin their wheels a bit. Nah, there's got to be something deeper. Where a lot of these games come from is that people have had bad experiences. They've been hurt. They've been cheated on. They've been abandoned. They've been let down or strung along. And so it gets to a point where now they're taking that hurt. They haven't healed. They're bleeding. They've been cut. And unfortunately, without maybe realizing it, they're bleeding on you. And this is a challenge. When we don't heal, we don't step away and learn from our trauma, from our past childhood difficulties. The next person we meet can be the person that has to deal with it. We put that burden on them. We make it seem like we're genuinely trying to be there and be interested in them. And then something stirs up inside of us. This feels real. Maybe they're going to leave me. I'm afraid of what I'm feeling right now. Maybe it's going to be like the other person I dated a year ago and they're going to abandon me. So these are some of the things that people we date also go through. Remember, they're human just like us. And it's not to make an excuse for their behavior. No, when somebody treats us poorly and we feel like somebody's been playing games with us, it's understandable to be hurt by that. But a big part of attracting better is to first understand where they're coming from. And more importantly, look in with ourselves and ask ourselves, well, how did I end up dating this person to begin with? See, like attracts like, and sometimes what will happen is we have every best intention to date and to put our best selves out there. But on a deeper level, we might be putting out a vibe there where if we're hurt and we're guarded and we don't want to be vulnerable, we don't want to open up, we don't want to fully let somebody in, we're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Guess what? You could be attracting the same. So it's easy to put the blame on others to say, why did they lead me on? Or I thought they were interested. So what is happening? Why are they leaving me? When ultimately at the same time, we have to look at our filter. We have to look at what is it that we are looking for in our potential partners. Now, you've probably heard this whole idea of being vulnerable and being an open heart with people and just be yourself. And it sounds nice, but it's certainly hard, isn't it? We've all been there. We may like the idea of being open and being ourselves, but when it comes to interacting with someone who we want to put trust in and who can actually hurt us emotionally, it's very easy for us to want to hold back, especially if we've gone through repeated heartbreak. So instead of fearing the worst, fearing somebody might leave, and therefore we're going to start playing games and putting our guards up, what if we look at this a little bit differently? What if we can make vulnerability a vetting tool that can help us get the relationship we want, rather than something that we try and avoid? I've been guilty of this myself. Years ago, I went through a horrible breakup, and it affected the way I dated because I got into this habit of wanting to be this perfect dater, right? Where I don't want to show my true personality. I don't want to show my warts, my insecurities. Do you want to know what ended up happening? I was attracting partners who were just like me. They were holding back. They weren't fully in. You're always wondering where you stand with them. And the challenge with this is, in a dynamic like that, you're going to have this breakdown of communication where you're having to play a guessing game. You're trying to read the other person's mind. Where do I stand? Are they going to text back? That's not a fun place to live. So in my personal life, what I have decided to do, as hard as it seems, is I have taken vulnerability as a vetting tool. I now deliberately show parts of me early on, but the place you come from matters more than anything. You can have vulnerability, but come from a place of weakness, Or you can make it your strength. And here's how. Use those quirks about your personality, some of those deep things about your past that maybe you're wanting to share a little nugget about, and use it in a way to tell yourself, is this person good for me? If they know a little bit about this detail from my past or a little bit about my personality, are we going to click? I want to know sooner than later if this person and I will be compatible. Because what will happen is if you fight tooth and nail to put barriers up, to play these games of not being fully available or trying to hold back your interest, eventually when you get comfortable and you spend enough time with somebody, they're going to see who you really are. And when that happens, if we weren't our true honest selves from the get-go, they feel like they were misled. And they might say, hey, wait a minute. This is not what I signed up for. You're not who I thought you were. Does this mean spill your whole life story from the beginning? No. But does it mean maybe show some of your flaws or insecurities from the get-go? Yes. And the way you do it matters. It could be something like this, like, hey, you know, I really like you and I've had challenges with being myself, but I just want to let you know that you're super awesome and it's hard for me to say this, but I really like where this is going. Sounds scary, right? But guess what? If you had to be a perfect dater and hold back to not scare somebody away, were they really yours to begin with? And guess what? When you start daring to be vulnerable and putting your true self out there, remember that whole like attracts like? You start getting that back. You start filtering from the get-go after maybe 1 or 2 dates versus 1 or 2 years. You realize, hey, I'm showing a little bit of my goofy laugh. Maybe I snort when I laugh. Maybe I tell horrible dad jokes. Maybe it's something about my family. Whatever it is, you're going to know right away if you can actually be yourself around that person. And that's a good vetting tool too, is that if you don't even feel like you can even be vulnerable around somebody, use that as a tool as well. Because why would you want to spend time with somebody when you can't even feel comfortable and you're walking on eggshells? So I hope this helps. You know, best of luck out there in the dating world. Everything's different now, but just be you and you'll find what you're looking for. And if you like this content, hit that subscribe button. And I talk more about this stuff in my book, Hey Anxiety, Thank You. Check out the link below and I'll see you later. Peace.